concerns. And there's no conclusive study, but that says that ASCAS is a COVID threat. So that's good news. So short but sweet and very impactful. So don't fart on each other, people. Dude, I think I have COVID-19. My eye is super pink. No, dude.
Wrong bacteria.
Yep.
So, all right. So I have another quick article that I'm going to bring up, but the only reason why I went with the really quick one is because I have a follow-up to one of our past articles that we said we'd do a follow-up for.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know. Exciting. Yep. So the first one, the very quick one I have is basically titled, Woman Opens Fire on Cell Tower Workers 100 feet up in the air.
What?
So what happened? Yeah. So what happened was in the Alexander County in North Carolina, cell tower workers basically called into 911 saying they were being shot at. And there was a woman, Suzanne Moose, had been charged with the assault with a deadly weapon. She had said that she was hearing voices from the tower. So she went and basically opened fire on the tower. Now, I think this all came in because, with the new 5G towers, people are saying there's like a danger, there's potential radiation and brain cancer and everything. So this woman overreacted and was basically accusing the tower of basically putting voices into her head. And she couldn't take it anymore, so she started shooting at the tower. Meanwhile, there were just two guys talking on the tower and trying to work on it.
I hear voices. Nope. Yeah, you do, bitch. You do hear voices. We're fucking shooting up here.
We're working. Yeah, so she was arrested, and she's on a $7,000 bail for assault with a deadly weapon and misdemeanor. And then, of course, she did barricade herself in the house with 2 axes.
Oh, yeah, that'll help.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily, none of the workers were hurt.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
Good.
So there's our little dose of crazy today. But I do want to follow up on one of our past articles. Do you remember the dirty Easter bunny who had been delivering eggs?
Yes, and he was leaving people like firecrackers and.
No, it was porn, goldfish, and drink crystals.
Oh yeah.
That's drink crystals.
Right. Okay,
yeah. So this turned out, believe it or not, to be a woman who was doing this.
Sweet.
Yeah, Florida woman put 400 Easter eggs filled with porn in mailboxes. And here's why. So apparently this woman was, and it's a really confusing article. And I had to actually read through this 2 to 3 times. But Abril Castoni, 42, was arrested earlier on Thursday after the deputies received tips that a woman was going around through their neighborhood putting pornographic eggs in their mailboxes. When they eventually used a surveillance video to track her down, they were able to conduct a traffic stop in Castoni, who later admitted to making the porn on a computer program. Now, hopefully they didn't state whether this was self-pornography or
making the porn.
That's what the article says, was making the porn. Now, I'm assuming it was capturing images and printing it out. And there's a screenshot of what looks like almost like a long receipt with a little bit of pornography at the top, but then a lot of text underneath of it. And
well, everybody knows you read Playboy for the articles.
Right? I had a friend's wife who told me that once. It was just really interesting articles. But she had said that she was putting the pornography inside the eggs because she wanted to educate people on the need for churches. And she wanted pastors to give more money to the less fortunate. Which I was like, right? I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. She's like, you need pornography to need more churches? Like, you're just basically saying, sinner!
That was total Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Are you sure this isn't the same woman that was shooting at the tower in South Carolina?
Funny enough, they actually do look a lot alike from their mugshots. But let me tell you, like, so she basically did this, and she actually had put the pornography, but then what looks like almost like Bible verses underneath, even though there's no actual statement of like what kind of church she actually follows. And a lot of the people who have read this and posted up afterwards saying, no, this is some weird zealot of either some craziness or religion. And then they go on to saying, well, look at her hair and everything, because it's gray and yellow, and it looks like maybe this social anxiety or the social cutoff from everybody has basically turned this woman crazy.
Nah, bro. If anything goes wrong, I straight up go right to Scientology.
Right? But do you know what the funniest part out of all of this is?
What?
The woman is being charged with violating the statewide stay-at-home order.
That's it, though?
and then there's a falling. So that's the bigger part of the charge, and then there's a lesser charge of 11 counts of distributing obscene material.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But it was more the fact that she's left her house.
Dude, but imagine being in prison and having to fucking share that story, though. Like, what are you
the
in
worst
for?
ever.
Oh, I dressed up as an Easter bunny.
Delivered porn.
Yeah. If that was a
Porn-filled
dude,
eggs.
you're getting raped for sure.
Yeah. Now you're the Easter egg. Yep. There we go. So we've actually followed up on an article, and I remember how you saying, "Oh man, I need to know more." Well, that's the result. They caught them. It was a woman, and she was just crazy.
Amazing. See, that's how you know our news is real. You know, even though it's obscure,
Right.
it's obscure, but it's damn real. So
wonderful. So, Rick, welcome to the show again.
Well, thank you. It's been fun to be here so far.
Well, it's very interesting. We are a little bit more of a comedy base, trying to lift things up in people's day. But I thought it was actually quite interesting having met you and talked about what you do, because I find it's very, very important today, given what's going on with everybody basically being locked up and stuck in a house with their spouses. And apparently, I was just reading the other day that even domestic violence has increased. And clearly there's a lot of issues between maybe the amount of people who are just sitting home drinking and maybe where poor relationships are already falling apart.
Yeah, there's a huge correlation there, and then the other part of that is people are back together, getting to know each other, because they rarely get to see each other in our crazy lives today. But yeah, if there's underlying issues in a relationship and there's alcohol involved, Katie barred the door, there's going to be problems. And I think as this progresses, and hopefully here in the States we're starting to open things up a little bit, and hopefully things aren't going to get too serious. But yeah, whenever you're stuck with somebody that you're not crazy about, even a week can be a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I do. Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was just saying it's one of those weird things where, in all seriousness, like Ashley and I, my wife, we were chatting about it, and we kind of both agree that the next wave might not be Corona. I think the next big thing, the next wave of negativity is actually going to be mental health, from everybody just being so cooped up and, with, stuck with the same people a lot of the time. And sometimes that's not a bad thing. It is a double-edged sword. But I truly think that people are not used to having to be, shackled to the house. And I truly think like you hear about it already, like anxiety, depression, and all that stuff is increasing exponentially with the self-quarantining. So I think that you're going to see on the other side of this a big leap in that, and they're going to need to put resources in place for that. Just my opinion.
Well, I see a lot of anxiety just on social media. You can see just the evolution of people's comments over the last. For us, it's been 4 or 5, 6 weeks that we've been supposed to self quarantine or self isolate, and you can see the building up of hostility and some anger over the past couple of weeks about seeing people out and moving around, because we're I don't know what your quarantine is like, but we can get out and go to the store. I was at Home Depot yesterday picking up some tools, and we can still get out and do those types of things. We just can't. There's no bars or restaurants open to go into. You can buy food for curbside pickup, but that's about it. So I don't know how quarantined you are. I mean, if the authorities are watching you, or if you can get out, move around, and do the things that you need to do. So
luckily we're not as shackled down.
No, it's not like martial law full lockdown or anything like that. But we can get out to the grocery stores and into the pharmacies and stuff like that. Places like Home Depot and stuff, it's curbside pickup, Best Buy. Like, we can't actually go shopping or anything like that for anything other than essentials. But so it sounds like it's actually very similar. We do try to walk the dogs and get out there. We just stay to the social distancing, like 6 feet from others, and most people do respect that. But it's you can only walk around the block so many times, right? And there has been fines here. So it's like $1,000. It's like $1,000 if you're caught out with more than. It was 5 people, Tony. Is it still 5, or is it down to 3 now?
No, I think it's still 5.
Still 5.
But there's lots of places that will only allow one parent and up to 2 children in a store at one time.
Okay, maybe that's where I got the 3 from. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little. It's kind of it is strict. It's not like some countries that are really getting hit. It might be a little more strict than the States right now, but not by much, I don't think. So
yeah, you guys sound pretty similar. There might be a few minor differences, but yeah, we're pretty much in the same boat, and you can, and again, you can just tell people are getting antsy. They're tired of being inside or doing this. Just there's only so much TV you can watch, and people want to get back to work and do something. So yeah, it's gonna get interesting here over the next couple of weeks, because I think we've got another couple of weeks before we really start unwinding our quarantine. So we'll see. We'll see.
Are you still working, Rick? Like, are you just doing like phone stuff, or?
Well, yeah, for all intents and purposes, nothing in my life has changed other than I can't go out for dinner or go out for a couple of drinks. I've worked from home for the last 7 years, and so I'm still here working away, writing, talking to people, and I've transitioned over the last couple of years out of an office situation to just talking to people on the phone, on Skype, on Zoom, and it's just makes life so much easier. There's no commute, well, other than from the bedroom to my office. So
nice.
So I got to ask you, Rick, are you anticipating a large influx of clients based on the fact that so many people are going to come out of this, and perhaps because they've been forced to spend so much time with each other, like you said, like people are reconnecting because they haven't seen each other, or couples basically have so much of a work life that separates them. Are you anticipating like there might be, now that these people have spent so much time together, like, you know what, I don't really know if I like you anymore, and like the divorce rates might start skyrocketing?
Well, that's going to be more likely. What more likely to happen is you just get to a point where saying, yeah, this wasn't working before, and this really isn't working now. So I'm guessing that I'll see some increased traffic, but even that is going to be incremental over time, because it takes time to get a divorce. and it takes time to at least when I start working with someone, I tell them to take time to heal and grieve the loss of that relationship. And no matter how tough it was or how bad it was, you still